America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
All right, we're going to talk about today knowing your numbers for everything, but we're really talking about marketing right now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It could be cold calling, it could be sending emails, it could be door knocking, but you got to know, you have to track that. The first thing I do is I track the first 100. I don't want to know, that's not a big enough pool, but it's a good start. You really want to get to 1,000. So what I want to know is if I make 1,000 calls to this type of customer, this avatar, I'm going to get 10% are going to be interested in a price.
Right.
So that's going to produce, say, 100.
Right.
Let's make it lower. 5% are going to be out of 1,000. So I get 50 people out of talking to 1,000 people. How long is that going to take me? So that might say that's going to take me in a week. But now I got 50 people interested. I'm going to send out 50 proposals. Then I got to track what percentage of proposals do I close? So say that's 33%. So I'm basically going to get 16 of those jobs approved. And now I know when I'm making those calls, now all I care about is how long does it take me to make 1,000 calls? Like, I know if I make 1,000 calls, because I have data on it and I'm doing it, I'm going to get 15. And somebody says, that sounds like a lot. That's 1,000 calls. But I mean, I've been doing this for so many years.
Right.
But I tracked it with, hey, for every 1,000 emails I send out to property managers, like I get this response back, we send this many proposals, and then I know the percentage of proposals I get closed, and then I know for every proposal we close and we do it, we'll be able to do that person 5.4 times before we lose them. Like all it is just math. When you have it, like that's how you scale a business.
How powerful is that though, to be able to sit there? We all talk about building a business so that it's sellable for the exit. I don't care if you exit it or not, but build it for the exit. How powerful is it to be able to say, this is our numbers and this is how we bring our leads in. We know out of every 1,000 that we're getting the 5%. So 5% of all of our contacts we're bringing in. On that 5%, it produces this and we close this. It's a formula that anybody can look at and say, okay, we just mimic that and we keep moving forward. Yes, I love this asset and I'm going to pay you this much for it because you've got it figured out.
I mean, that's how I reverse engineered netting $1 million.
Yes.
Like I literally wrote it out. In the beginning, my data was 100 people, then 1,000, then 3,000. Then I'm like, okay, if I keep doing this, like basically at this time frame, once I talk to this many people, call, email, contact, I'll be at $1 million net. And then are you going to do the work?
Yeah.
But what you find out when you reverse engineer, most times you're like, that's actually doable.
Yeah.
I could do that. But too many people are just winging it, and they just hope it all works out. You have to get it really dialed in. How do you do it for affiliate marketing?
So I can't take props for this. I heard a guy in the restoration industry, Shane O'Dozer, and you know I stay a student. I'm constantly learning. Matter of fact, we were at our pop-up meetup in Atlanta last night, and I was listening to the other guys doing in different industries and their stories and different levels, and I was just absorbing so much information. Like, man, I can take this and implement this in my business model. But this is what I learned from him on the affiliate marketing side. So since we focus on water damage, then we're going to focus on our plumbers to feed us work, because when a pipe busts, they're the ones that's showing up to repair it before us typically, and they are already there building rapport. So they just say, hey, I've got someone that can come out here, inspect the site for free, find all the moisture, tell you how to get it dry so you don't have mold. Can I give the number? Makes us the connection. So I understand if I can get one plumber, give me 3 jobs a week at an average $6,000 job ticket, I am knocking on the door of $1 million in a year. And this is how I get to $1 million. So his concept was 1, 3, 6. So all I'm looking at is those different variables right now. How many plumbers do I need to get in contact with so that I can find that one plumber that's going to give me one job? Once he gives me one job, how do I incentivize him enough to where he will give me 3 jobs average a week? If my job ticket is low, then how can I increase my job ticket to the $6,000 mark? Because now I've got the volume of 3 jobs a week. So I'm just tweaking all these variables so I can hit that $1 million mark.
I love it. And let me break those numbers down, people. So it's 136.
136.
One plumber gives you 3 jobs a week at $6,000. So six times 3 is 18,000. 18,000 over 52 weeks is approximately $1 million.
Yeah, it's just shy of $1 million bucks. It's so close to $1 million, you can't even count the lack of.
When you start that off, you say, hey, go out and find a plumber who's going to send you $1 million of work. It sounds ridiculous. But when you're like, find a plumber who can give you 3 jobs a week at an average of $6,000. So now you got to figure out, how do you get your jobs to $6,000?
Right.
Okay. That's very doable in your line of work. But then the key is, how many plumbers do I have to talk to find that one?
That's it. So what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? I go to the supply houses because I know they're constantly coming in. And then I'm watching the ones that are coming in over and over again, or I'm watching the brands, the logos, trucks that are coming in over and over again, because I know this plumbing company is doing volume. And if they're doing volume, I've got more opportunity to have volume from them. And so I'm making sure I'm communicating and showing extra effort. And then I'm following up with text messages after I've gotten their contact number. I'm getting lunch on me so that they're grabbing some lunch. I'm giving everything that I can think about to give, because I need to make sure that they give me that one opportunity for me to hand them that $200 affiliate check. And what's the math? You got 3 times 52, so that puts us at 156. 156 times 2, that puts us at 312. So that's 312. That's 30. That's 30,000 for the year that I just gave him an affiliate. 30,200, I think. 30,200.
120. Yeah.
In affiliate dollars, and he didn't do any work but just mention me, and it made him look good because I came in.
Think he's going to do that next year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's just, this is why you want to find your numbers, like you said. And it can be done in every area. So track, how many calls do you have to make? Find a percentage. And if you don't know the data yet, do the calls and then start tracking. And
the great thing is, when you know those calls, this is what we do. We had a thing on it. Then we look at it, we say, okay, we're hitting 2.5% of calls where we're actually getting things approved. So then I say, all right, what do we have to do to get that to 3%? Like, let's get in here. How do we make this proposal better? How do we make our message better? Then it can get super interesting.
Because you got data, so you can start tweaking.
And now you do it. But too many people, they're just winging it, and they don't know. And then you got to stay consistent. But if you knew that all I got to do is talk to 100 people to get 2 people to give me 2 big jobs, you would talk to 100 people.
100%.
So I knew that back in the day when I used to walk into complexes. I needed to walk into 24 to get 1 job, 1 complex to say yes and pay me later. And like, I wasn't going to do it and get paid for 90 days.
Yeah.
But all I was doing was stacking them up. And I had that because I had the data. I already had, like, say, 37 complexes, and I was tracking how many people I talked to. I said, oh, I'm getting 1 out of 24.
Yeah.
So then you know what I did? I was like, I had an assistant back then, not virtual. It was, she used to line up literally 24, a route for me to go see 24 complexes. And that meant I had to move, because I got to see 3 an hour, 1 every 20 minutes with driving. Now, a lot of them are very close to each other. And I would just eat lunch in the car. And I was excited because I'm like, if I do this, back then I was doing it like 3 days a week, and 2 days a week I was helping guys and everything. I'm like, man, I'm going to get rich doing this.
Yeah.
But you need to know the data, otherwise you'll get sidetracked.
The data, again, it all comes down to having clarity. And the more clarity we have, the more efficient and the more we're going to produce. So you got to start tracking your data. And if you don't have it, just start it. Start tracking it, because then once you start getting, I remember when I hired my first business coach, this is when I was trying to transfer out of a solopreneur situation into an actual business owner. I was hiring guys, but I was physically in the field working with them. I was doing the paperwork. I was doing the sales and the networking. Like, I was doing it all, but I still had guys, and I thought I had a business business till I read Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, and then I got slapped in the face and realized I didn't have a business. I just thought I had a business. I had a high-paying job, because if I left, it was going to dip in sales. It was not going to maintain or increase in sales. And at that point, that's when I started my business. I hired a business coach, and he said, Chris, we don't have enough data to be able to determine how we're going to get to certain levels of revenue. So what we've got to start doing is tracking it now, and in 3 months we'll have something to project off of. In 6 months we'll have even more to project off of. So start tracking it right now is what I would tell everybody, because now 3 months and 6 months down the road, you can look at the data and you can start tweaking things. You might say, this is not working, but this over here is, so let's pull more energy over here. The problem is most of the time we say, well, we ain't got the data, and then we move on and we never start.
Yeah.
You gotta start. At the end of the day, it's just start.
When you see that one thing's working better, you put more energy. It doesn't mean you stop doing other things,
right,
but you're gonna put more gasoline on that fire. But here's the key really with knowing the numbers is you can remove yourself at that point.
Yes.
So for me, if you know, hey, you walk into 24 spots, that means that guy for me, it was producing about $1,000 net for each one. So that means I'm producing $1,000 a future every day, $5,000 a week. So then I know, well, I could hire somebody.
Way less than that.
And maybe I say, I'll pay this guy $1,000 plus bonuses. He'll make $1,500.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, yeah, I'll do that. And he doesn't have any money. He doesn't have to worry about getting the jobs done. He could be very interested. So I did that. Like I had a guy who worked for me in 2017 up in New Jersey. And of course he didn't have anything going on in the winter. I said, come down to Atlanta. This is what you're going to do. You're going to see 20. I used the same formula, but he was actually getting 1 out of 18 because it's a little bit easier down here. There's more trees.
Yeah.
It's a little warmer. So I didn't say, hey, only go see 18 people. I still had to see him 24 guys. And he was loading up, and I was giving him bonuses on them, but I also gave him a draw. But I knew I was super safe going in because I had the data. So same thing with calls. If you know you can call and you can get 2 jobs a day and they net $400, means you're producing $800. That means you could hire somebody at $400 and basically double your money.
So last night at our meetup, I saw a guy, and he showed me where his techs out in the field are making over $300,000 a year. Okay, so I immediately was like, man, that is extremely impressive as a business owner to be able to provide that type of revenue for a blue collar technician out and doing the field. And the reason he was able to do that is because he had a pay for performance model, and he understood his data so that he could structure it to where he still made very good money. This guy was making a lot of profit, but he was also giving a lot of money towards his technician. Do you think that technician is going to be trying to job hop? First of all, he's not going to find another company that's going to share that much revenue, but he's understood his numbers, and it gets you. I remember the first time I heard this, I had to laugh, but at the same time I was like, there's a lot of reality here. Most people that don't have that type of business model are grouped into this old saying, the boss makes $1, I make a dime, that's why I shit on the boss's time.
Yeah.
They go to the bathroom and lock themselves in for 30 minutes with the complaint that they're using the restroom. But the reality is they're just milking the time because they feel like they're not appreciated enough and they don't see the compensation. But if you understand your data, everything else in your business is going to work much more efficiently, and the culture in the business is going to be fantastic because you know what you can pay your people to keep them engaged.
Next week, we'll talk about the broke mindset versus abundance mindset.
Huge, man.
You know, it's funny that post, maybe we'll talk about that post last night.
Yeah.
You could see, because we knew some people who had positive things to say, but we know they're blue-collar millionaires.
That's right.
We know them.
That's right.
And then I don't know the other people, but I could pretty much, they're not doing what he's doing.
We can tell by the way they were responding.
Yeah, you can tell how people respond. So on some level, maybe we didn't have that negative mindset, but we had broke mindsets. I definitely didn't think of abundance, so we're going to talk about that. Super important. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset in a couple of the next podcasts, but we'll see you guys next week.